Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. All right, so thanks for coming down. We have a very special event. This is the first time that we have invited our guests in here, the Rolling Thunder. Where are you guys out of?
Chapter 3 out of Green Bay.
Chapter 3 out of Green Bay. There are several chapters, I think, there are like 90 chapters across the
93 chapters nationwide.
Nationwide. So these folks are veterans from our community. And so in honor of Veterans Day, that's coming up here very quickly, we wanted to take some time to have you guys experience something a little bit different that we don't typically have in here. And these folks do present at schools across northeast Wisconsin. Okay, I know I've heard Cribbets thrown out there, there's Pulaski, other school districts where kids do participate in this. So, as always, our contract, if you feel as though you cannot be respectful, responsible, and safe next to the person you're sitting next to right now, this is your opportunity, with no questions asked, to make that movement. This is going to be a really pretty cool thing, and I want you guys to be able to give your fullest attention to what will be happening here and you will be experiencing today. So, with that, I appreciate anybody that did move. I don't think I saw anybody, so that's our contract, guys. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our local chapter of
Excuse me, you're talking.
Good afternoon, Marinette Middle School.
Good afternoon.
I am Bob Knotts. I am the Vice President of Rolling Thunder. At this time, I would like my guards to take our prisoner into custody. You will come with us, sir. Now, I would like everybody to please rise. Face our American flag and recite with me the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We could all bow our heads for a moment of silence to honor all of our POW MIAs that have not returned to American soil. Please be seated. Rolling Thunder is a POW MIA recognition organization and a veterans advocacy group, which means we go out to take care of our veterans, but our main goal is to assure that all POWs, prisoners of war, and MIAs missing in action are returned home after our government chooses to put us in harm's way during military conflicts. There are over 80,000 American personnel missing from all past wars, from the Revolutionary War to today, that are missing. The table over here represents Wisconsin from one conflict. 40 POW MIAs that did not return from Vietnam. With Rolling Thunder's effort and the Joint POW Accounting Command in Hickman Air Force Base in Hawaii, we brought that number down to 26. There's only 26 left that are missing from the original 40. There have been hundreds across the nation that have been brought home by the efforts of Rolling Thunder and the POW MIA Accounting Command. We also like to make sure that all veterans that are KIA, killed in action, are never forgotten for their sacrifices. As you leave Marinette and you drive south, and you go through the town of Peshtigo on Highway 41, you will see a bridge with the name Stephen T. Drees. Stephen gave his life for the defense of America in foreign lands, with the efforts of Rolling Thunder assisting his parents to get the state of Wisconsin to dedicate that bridge in his name. If you travel north on 141, north of Lena, at the stream called Kelly Brook, you will see a sign, Nicole M. Fry Memorial Bridge. She perished in Iraq in 2004, defending this country. Our slogan, the POW flag, our vest, all say, "You are not forgotten." Throughout today's ceremony, you will hear the word remember a lot. And that's our mission, is to make sure that no one is ever forgotten. Dying for your country is not the worst that can happen. Being forgotten is. Throughout today's ceremony, we will be doing the POW MIA Missing Man ceremony. Listen closely to all the items that are on the table. They have significance in their meanings. We will do a flag folding ceremony, funeral style, off of a coffin. Listen up to the folds of those flags. Each one has a particular meaning, and why we fold a flag in a triangle when we take it down at night. And I heard a few snickers, laughter, when we took your principal and put him in the cage. It's funny, you're students, but I want you to reflect on your principal in this cage and to see how uncomfortable he becomes throughout today's ceremonies. When it comes time for us to take him out of the cage, he will need assistive effort to get him off the floor and get him in a chair. His body is starting to shut down. His extremities are going numb, and he will not be able to walk on his own for quite a long time after we get him out of the cage and get some water in him. We do this for you to reflect what it's like for about 1 hour for a human being to endure this. Now imagine our POWs, and this is significant with the Vietnam War. This is a type of torture cage that the the North Vietnamese armies used in treating their enemies. The United States being one of those countries they considered enemies. You will see what 1 hour does to the human body in this cage. Now imagine someone there for days, weeks, months, years, lifetime. We still have POWs that were declared prisoners of war and never returned. We have no recollection, excuse me, we have no confirmation that those individuals have perished or were ever released. But the North Vietnamese government declared that they had them in custody as prisoners. So they're still out there. Imagine what a lifetime of living in these conditions is like. After we go through our ceremonies, we will open it up for questions and answers from you students to us veterans. I'm going to tell you right now, there's 2 questions off limits. Have I ever killed anybody? Have I ever shot anybody? No veteran in this group will ever answer that question for anyone. It is not to be asked. If we feel uncomfortable with the question, we will tell you we can't answer it. But I wish you would respect our veterans' wishes. Those 2 questions are off the table. Please don't even ask them. At this time, I would like to introduce Rolling Thunder's Honor Guard. Today, standing in for our normal presenter is our President, Rick Williams, United States Army Vietnam veteran. Table team member, Robert Code, United States Navy, Vietnam veteran. Our narrator for today's ceremonies, Gary Wagnitz, United States Marine Corps, Vietnam. I am Bob Knotts, Also representing United States Marine Corps, Desert Storm veteran. Thank you. Carla, at this time, would you please start the music?
This is a ceremony to remember our nation's heroes, those that swore on their lives to protect our values and defend our nation. We do it to honor them and respect them, for they are not here. This table which is round, to show our everlasting concern, will be set for all POW-MIAs, so that we may remember. The chair is empty. For they are not here, though we ever hope for their return. Remember. The white tablecloth which stands for purity and their willingness to answer our country's call to arms, so that future generations will remain free. Remember. The table, which is set for only one, symbolizing the frailty of one against all his oppressors. Remember. The wine glass is inverted. They cannot host with us here today, for they are not here. Maybe tomorrow, when they are home, if we remember. The candle reminds us of the light of hope that lives in our hearts, to light the way home, away from their captors, and back to a grateful nation. The black ribbon on the candle reminds us of those who will never be coming home. Remember. Single rose reminds us of loved ones and families of our comrades who keep the faith and await their return. The red ribbon on the vase, just like ones worn by thousands back home, that admire their will and determination, and who demand a proper accounting of all our missing. Remember. The slice of lemon is on the plate. To remind us of the bitter fate if we do not bring them home. Remember. The salt on the table. Which symbolizes the family's tears as they wait and remember. The Bible represents strength, the chief from our faith, helping to sustain those lost from our country founded by one nation, under God. Remember. The faded picture on the table serves as a reminder to the family that they are loved and missed very much. Remember. The candles will be lit. To symbolize the upward reach of their unequal spirit. Remember. Please join us now as we bow our heads in a moment of silence to honor all of our POW-MIA comrades, for they surely will remember what we did here today. As you look upon this empty table, remember not ghosts of the past. Remember our heroes. Remember how we depended on them each and every day. Now they depend on us to bring them home. Remember our friends, the ones we love, for they love life and freedom as we do. Remember all of you who served with them, who called them comrades, who served at their side in good times and in bad. They were there for you. Now you need to be there for them. Remember. We'd like to thank those of you who invited us here, as well as all of you who joined us for our ceremony. As each year passes, finding our missing becomes harder and harder. Some witnesses may die, forget where a plane went down, or where a service member was shot, killed, or captured. The ground where they lay can erode, or their bones may just crumble and disappear. The longer they are missing, the easier it is to forget. Our POW MIA wound is one no amount of time can ever heal. Only with our actions can we bring our nation's heroes back to the forefront of everyone's thoughts and prayers. We take great honor and pride in presenting this ceremony, and your attendance with us here today tells us that you are keeping the faith, just as we do. With that in mind, we'd like to issue a personal challenge. A challenge for you and everyone, for you to be the one who remembers.
Rick Williams, please escort our Gold Star mom to her position. Flag bearers, assume positions on the coffin.
According to the Army and Navy tradition, when the flag is lowered, no part of it should touch the ground. Then the flag is carefully folded into the shape of a three-cornered hat. The hat symbolizes the hats worn by colonial soldiers during the American Revolution. During the folding process, the flag is folded so that the red stripes fold into the blue portion of the flag, signifying the way of light of day recedes into the darkness of night. The flag folding ceremony represents the same religious principles on which our country was originally founded. The portion of the flag denoting honor is in the canton of blue, containing the stars, which represents the states our veterans served in uniform. The canton field of blue dresses from left to right and is inverted when draped as a pall on a casket of a veteran who served our country in uniform. In the ceremony of retreat, the flag is lowered, folded in a triangle, and kept under watch throughout the night as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. The next morning it is brought out, and at the ceremony of reveille, stands as a symbol of our belief in the resurrection of the body. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in the eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veteran departing our ranks, who gave a portion of her life for the defense of our country, to attain a peace throughout the world. The fourth fold represents our weaker nation, for as American citizens, trusting in God, it is to Him we turn in times of peace as well as times of war for his divine guidance. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, for in the words of Stephen Decatur, our country in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is where our hearts lie. It is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through the armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all her enemies, whether they are found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we might see the light of day. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood, for it has been through their faith, love, loyalty, and devotion that the characters of men and women who have made this country great have been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to the Father, for he too has given his sons and daughters for the defense of our country since they were first born. The 11th fold is in the eyes of a Hebrew citizen, represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon, and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The 12th fold is in the eyes of a Christian citizen, represents an emblem of eternity, and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. When the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our nation's motto, in God we trust.
Read and up. Up.
On behalf of the President of the United States of America and armed forces and a grateful nation, please accept this flag as a symbol of the faithful service to our country and its armed forces.
All read and up. Order. Up. Detail. Follow me. Detail. Dismissed. Get the chair, let's get the principal out of the case, please. Come straight to me, guys, with the case. We'll get the chair over there and get him up. He's down. You've heard that.
Wow, you guys don't ever want to do that.
I hate this part of the ceremony, only because of what I know it does to the human body. But we feel it necessary to put that effort across to let all Americans know what our men and women have endured in the defense of this country. Before we open it up to questions and answers, there's a few items that I forgot in my introductions beforehand. The picture that you see on our table is a Wisconsin native, Commander James David LaHaye. He was from Green Bay, Wisconsin. In 1965, he was shot down off the coast of North Vietnam and has been listed as missing in action ever since. Commander LaHaye fought in the tail end of World War II. He fought in all of the Korean War. It took the Vietnam War to take him down. He's our honorary MIA for Rolling Thunder Chapter 3, Wisconsin. He's one of my personal heroes. Do we have a math teacher in the house? Now the question for the students is, has anybody in here ever been to a military or veteran funeral? Young man, what's one thing that you remember from that funeral?
They honor them.
But how? What was one of the significant ceremonies you've seen at a military funeral? Yes, young lady.
They're using guns and throwing around.
What did they call that? When they fired a volley, what was that honor called?
21 fire salute.
21 gun salute. Where does the number 21 come from? Why the number 21? What's significant about the number of 21? Math teacher, what is the sum of the numbers of the year of 1776? What's that?
1976.
1776, the birth of our country. 1776, what's the sum of the numbers? We got to get her my speaking voice. That's where the number comes from. Add up the numbers, the year 1776, the birth year of our country, where we declared our freedom from England, we get 21. So we honor our military dead with a 21 gun salute. That's where it comes from. I was a Marine for 8 years. I was a Marine Corps drill instructor. I was out of the Marine Corps for over 10 years before I learned that trivial bit of history. That's why I bring it to the schools.